Hi folks, so this video is going to be a quick tour of our new propagation area, which I'm really excited about. It's actually past the middle of February now, and that is our first sowing date here in the south, and we're growing zone 9A. So I have actually sown my first seeds for the year as well. Welcome to Freedom Forest, guys, the 3-acre edible oasis that we're creating here in the south of England, where we like to try lots of new things and push the boundaries with what we can grow using permaculture and no-dig methods. Absolutely no chemicals, weed killers or synthetic fertilisers, just what nature provides. So this tunnel for the last year or so has pretty much been used as a storage space, and whilst we have needed that, we felt that it's not been as well utilised as it could have been. So we've had a really big sort out over the last few weeks, and now we feel we're going to make much better use of this space this year. So yeah, first of all, we did have loads of wood and bits and pieces all down the sides here, and we have still obviously got a lot of that, but we've sorted out, we've kept all the useful stuff, and Dan has made this great crate to store everything in so that we can see what we've got a lot more. We've still got a little bit of sorting out to do down here, but out of a lot of the wood which he sorted through, which was all reclaimed and recycled and just offcuts of bits and pieces, out of all of that he has built us this amazing propagation table, and these slats on top were actually made from old cladding that we saved from a building when we saw builders in a house that we were working on the gardens, and they were just throwing all this cladding onto a fire, and there's some more of it down here, and so he's actually used all of the bits of that we couldn't use for anything else. He's used that to build this amazing table, and you can actually see a video of him doing this which is coming out really soon, so stay tuned for that one. So this is where we're going to be laying out all of our plants. We're already making use of it, as you can see, and then underneath I've organised all of our main trays that we use. And over the last few years, we have been converting over to the container-wise trays, which we find really amazing because they're so solid and durable. They really will last a long time. So we do see them as a really good investment. We have still got a few of our kind of classic thinner plastic trays that we're not throwing out until they are completely done. But yeah, generally these container-wise trays, we've got about 4 different sizes now, and we find them really, really good. So yeah, they will last us a long time. And then we also really like these long trays, which again are a really solid plastic, and you know, we can use these for watering, for soaking the trays, and yeah, keeping everything tidier. And then over here I've got my standing height potting table, and this bench again was from a shed clearance that I did back a year or so ago, and it needed a little bit of patching up. It was a bit rotten in places, but yeah, really great when you're doing lots of seed sowing and potting on. It's really great to have a standing height table, so it just makes everything so much easier. Yeah, everything's organised, got all my labels which I've cleaned from last year, just any bits that I need, I'm trying to keep them to hand. And then down here, we've got all of our compost, which in this big tub here this is the seed raising mix. And this year I've got a mix of municipal waste compost, and there's a little bit of vermiculite and a little bit of perlite in here just to lighten the mixture. And then I've also added a little bit of worm castings just to give it a bit more nutrients. And this here, this is actually the municipal waste compost. So you can see it's not a bad mix already. It looks quite nice. And then I just sieve this off. And then all of the bits go into this bag, and we can use this to fill holes in our driveway or anything like that. So we'll find a use for the stuff for the spoil from that as well. And yeah, and then over here, let's take a look at what I've been sowing already. So far, I've done all of our chilies and hot peppers. So that's both sweet chilies and yeah, hot spicy chilies. And then I've also sown a few broad beans as a bit of an emergency measure, because generally I sow the broad beans direct outside, but I noticed the other day that we've had rats or mice or something have gone in and have taken a lot of seed out of the ground which I've put in. So I am going to re-sow those outside, but I'm just doing a tray as well for a backup for if I have any gaps to fill. So yes, we've got broad beans. We're also trying to grow some asparagus from seed for the first time this year. I've done a tray of onions already, a tray of beetroot, a tray of kohlrabi, and then we've got a mixture of herbs here. So I've got dill, coriander, 2 types of parsley, and then we've got some cabbage, a red acre cabbage and a greyhound cabbage, which I don't normally sow cabbage, but we've got some changes coming up in our brassica net house this year of how we're going to lay that out. So I thought I'd just do a few because it's been a few years since I've done any cabbage. So yeah, we've got some plants to go in the ground here for other projects that we've got going on. So we'll talk to you about that another time. And then finally here, this is another exciting thing that we're trying for the first time this year, and this is going to be a hotbed. And we're completely off grid here, so we've got no electricity for heated propagators or anything like that, and obviously some of our seeds do need warmth. So at the moment the warm loving ones will be coming inside with us to keep them warm. But in a few weeks' time, we're going to have this filled up, and then hopefully we will be able to bring all of our warm-loving seeds on the hotbed, and we're going to share more with you about that in the coming weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour of our propagation area, and if you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we will catch you here again soon. Peace and plants. The next day, when we checked our seeds, nearly everything had been dug out and eaten by mice. Luckily, I had enough seed to re-sow all of the trays, and we have tucked this net all around our trays now in hope that it will be a bit of a deterrent. We've made the hard decision to set traps too, which is really upsetting, but it seems to be necessary. We did have a resident robin in this tunnel too, which I was a bit worried about. So to protect him and the other birds, we've now added a net over this door to stop them being able to get in. Despite all of the challenges, we do still feel that growing as much of our own beautiful, fresh, chemical-free food as possible is still absolutely worth all of the effort. And picking beautiful, fresh, crunchy, homegrown salad towards the end of February after a really hard winter reminds me exactly why we do this.